Hi, my name is Amanda Abbasi, and this is how I got a job as an IT professional with zero previous work experience. Now, for starters, if you were to look at me, I don't look very professional right now, so let's fix that. There you go. Now, ideally my shirt would be ironed, but this is a good example of just a kind of variation of professionalism that I think passes very well in interviews. Just something as simple as a collared shirt, your hair styled in some sort of way, and I also think a little bit of makeup goes a long way just to show a little bit of effort that comes across as more polished and professional, especially for a first impression. So the reason why I got into the IT industry was actually because I heard that the tech industry was where people were making a lot of money. But because I didn't really have a background in computer science or had any specialized tools, skills, or technology that was relevant to the tech industry per se, I realized that my skills was more aligned with something like HR, because my school at University of Toronto, I was taking psychology, and I also have a background in customer service all throughout my jobs that I've had since I was a teenager. So I had a lot of what I thought were good soft skills as well as applicable tools and technologies like Microsoft Office for a good entry-level role. I just wanted to get my foot in the door and hopefully get trained and get some industry knowledge and experience that way. So I did what everyone else does. I Googled it and I looked up some jobs that were in the area. At first I was really interested primarily in a fully remote job because that sounded like the dream. If you were on TikTok, everyone was talking about how their comfy six-figure tech job allowed them to be fully remote and a digital nomad and travel the world and such. So after doing some snooping around, I realized that a lot of those fully remote jobs that I saw that sounded so cushy, they also required some previous experience with specific tools and technologies that I had never even heard of. So I realized that I was in a little bit over my head. So I kind of wanted that to be my goal. I wanted to see if that was possible and what opportunities were around in my area of Toronto. I needed to find something a little bit more entry-level friendly that could get my foot in the door in the industry and get some experience. You may have just heard my wiener dog sneeze. Please don't mind him. But why don't I just go ahead and introduce. This is Dash, my wiener, and I would hire him for absolutely any job, but I'm very biased. That's what we call nepotism. So after editing my resume to look something like this, I went ahead and applied for roles that I felt that I could reasonably do that were willing to offer training for entry-level positions within their organization. And one of those happened to be my current employer, SI Systems. And one notable thing about how I got the job was that I waited, because hiring can be quite the long process. If you're not quite familiar with it, on the Canadian market at least is the most that I can state my experience on, but it may vary by industry or by necessity. Of course, the more in demand you are, you may not have this problem per se, but hiring can be notorious for taking a very long time, and in fact it took 2 to 3 months for them to reach out to me after I had applied with the assignment/test, which is a pretty common requirement these days for different kinds of roles. I fulfilled it, and even though it gave me kind of an ambiguous result, it ended up being the correct outcome. I had 2 rounds of interviews that I was myself, I felt reasonably prepared for in terms of engagement and putting my best foot forward, and that's it. So after applying to several different jobs and waiting a long time, which was some serious foreshadowing to come for the industry that I happen to be in, which is now the hiring and recruitment industry, I was hired, which only took an assignment and 2 rounds of interviews. It was quite the journey, quite the process. I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity, and I've really enjoyed it so far. The training that I've received and the knowledge I've gained in the industry over these past 5 months have been incredible. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to sharing my experience and everything that I get to learn so far that's useful or beneficial to you. So please subscribe if you want to hear more, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Later.